Hello, Nick Foley, HammondForHire.com. Welcome to part two. Right, so we've obviously you've seen part one, so you know what we've done. We've changed the spring idler there. We've done a bit of oiling, bits and bobs. We've got the base rotors, all those bits and bobs. I'm trying to think where we left off. I think where we finished yesterday was just getting the base motor, back into position. So, without further ado, this is part two. Hammond for Hire, how to service or at least refurbish parts of a Leslie 145. Some parts are missing, we'll go into that later at a later date. So let's just kick straight off where we were, which I think is dropping in the base motor, this one down here, back into the Leslie 145 and setting it back up. Alright, see you later, bye. So here we are with the motor in place. See my little finger there. I put the spacer underneath there, drop that down. This has got in the recess. You can see it can move. We're going to tighten them up. Don't forget to put this little washer on underneath here. Get them in a decent position. I'm going to put the belt on onto the pulley there. You can see my fingers underneath. And then we're going to work the tightness out, and I'll show you the tightness in a bit to get it just right. It's a new belt, so it might not be in the position it was in when we took it apart. Finally, cables down here. Put it back down this channel, this nice cut through channel, and plug them in to the bottom motors, top motors. And that hopefully will be the motor disassembled, oiled, O-ring changed and replaced with a new belt and a new top bearing. Top motor to go, oh joy, and bottom bearing. Hammond underneath it, and I've attached the cable to the pulley. See if I can see it. There we are, look. And you'll notice, eagle-eyed of you will notice that the motor was all the way over here before. That's the tension, but I've had to pull it right back because it's a new cable now. A little bit there, so all we've got to do now is you can move this away from you or towards you. Just increases the tension. Too much it's going to slip, you don't want it too tight either. So when I've got two hands free, I'm going to just move that a little bit more. A little bit of movement in it like that. It's quite tight, that. I think that'll be enough. Spin it up and check and see how it works. Little tip for refitting the speaker. The cross member that holds the bearing is screwed in by that speaker hole and the one around the back. The one around the back is the hardest to get to. So drop the speaker in with a screw already in place around the back and get the back one in place first. Because if you do all of these ones around the front and that one's not in place, because that holds the cross member down on the other side. If that's not in place, you'll have to get them all back out again. Ask me how I know. Slightly in, jiggle it about, make sure everything went in perfectly. We're going to tighten all of those up. Connect these two fellas onto there. Make a note of the way you took them off. Connect these ones here. I'm going to do that now, and possibly with one hand, although they're spring loaded, so it's not incredibly easy. 1, 2, and then I'll come back to you and we'll switch it on and see if it's all turning happily or not. Don't go crazy now, but make sure these are tight. Crimp them up a little bit if you need to. If you're gigging and there's no noise, 9 times out of 10, one of those is going to have fallen off. Take off this middle panel, unplug it, just check those are on, check those are on. That'll be a culprit. It's back together-ish. Speakers in, everything's connected. Right, moment of truth. Now when I plugged it in before, this base rotor would squeak a bit and it wouldn't really move, and you'd have to give it a little bit of a start like that. So let's see where we are. Make sure you've not left anything anywhere lying around, because as it spins, well, that's not bad. Nice and quiet, happy to move. The top window is pretty cool. Right, if you've left any screws anywhere, you're going to have them in your face in a minute. Switch it on. pretty good, isn't it? Say that was all right. Yeah, nice and quiet. Yeah, good job all in, I think. Okay, spin it upside down, do the bottom bearing on the rotor. In the afternoon we're going to be taking that out, changing the O-ring and oiling it. It's a bit of fun getting that out as well, as I recall. So let's get the top motor out. What did we do? I couldn't show you it in real time because I haven't got 3 hands. Unplugged. Undid the idler. Unscrewed. Nice little sheaths, don't lose those fellas. And the motor came up through there, twist, bend towards you, twist again, out. There's about exactly enough room to do it, not a millimetre more, unfortunately. But what you end up with is my fella. There he is. Top motor. Essentially what we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to take that top bit off there. We're going to change that rubber there. We're going to Google the oiling points. I'm going to point to them as if I know what I'm doing. There, one hidden in there, one down the back somewhere. And I'll come back all knowledgeable about that, and then we're going to drop it back in again. Pretty much the same as the lower one. Usual sketch then on the top motor. These 4 screws to undo. They're a bit of a nightmare actually, and they're going to love to break on you. So if you can get hold of a second set, a spare set, I'd change those at the same time. I really would. Undone, exactly like the lower motor. Screws, hands in the way, just peels off like that, revealing the tyre O-ring that we're going to replace. Oh, and also revealing that little bit of a oiling point there, which we're going to shove some oil in. It's back in. Again, I couldn't show you because I haven't got enough hands. Little collars go under there, and that drops in. Collars under there, drops in. Make a note where that white bit was before you mess about with it. That's in place. We're going to tighten stuff up. I'm going to plug it back in again. I'm going to switch it all on. Hopefully it should be nice and sweet and quiet. Nearly there now, folks. We've tightened up. Put the belt back on. We've run this through all the way down there and plugged it in. A couple of things you'll notice. That shouldn't be there. That's for my light on the top rotor. And you might notice that it has a power supply, which means it's earthed, and it has a separate 1/4" jack input. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's switch it on. See how it goes. Make sure there's no screws anywhere, or else they'll be in your face. Quiet. Not bad. Not bad at all. Switch it on. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Bit of shaking going on there. Nothing more than you'd expect. That's why you hear the flutter. See what happens when it breaks on that idler. Beautiful. Good job, I think. Bottom bearing to go. Right, so we've got the 145 and we've tipped it on its side to get to the bottom bearing. I bought this one off my good friend Neil, who reliably informs me in 1998 fitted the wheels, and why wouldn't you? But I think we all know now, leave a service inspection gap so we can get to the bottom bearing. So next time you speak to me, I'll have this plate off and I'll show you where the bearing hole is. We're back. The dolly has been removed. And now we can see what I was hoping to see, which is the bottom bearing. We're going to take that out and we're going to replace that bearing. And unscrew these 2 screws here, this one, pull it out, and then show you what to do after that. and it's out. That's what we're going to replace there. It's a bit squirrely this, remember that washer's there. Try and keep everything absolutely in place because we don't want to move it any more than we absolutely have to. Right, so just like the top bearing, we're going to unscrew that, unscrew that, take this cover off, take out that bearing, pop the new one in, screw it back in, put the plate back on. That's the plan. And there we have it. 2 screws off, lift that up, out the old, in with the new. Trying to do this and film at the same time, so might not work. Actually, that's not too bad considering. Tighten up the screws. Change hand for a second. Well, that's essentially the bearing done. Tighten that right up. Get it back on that pole, on that spindle there, and then 2 screws and back on. Okay, so we're all up, back together. Let's see what happens. That starts nicely. Have a listen. Oh yeah. That's definitely quieter, isn't it? Top job. Now all we need to do is plug it in and make sure everything still works. Good work. Okay, so we're all plugged in now. Let's see if it works, eh? Yep, I'd say that was a winner. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. That's the end of it. I think it's about over the 2 parts. I think it's about half an hour's worth of footage, bits and bobs that I've worked out and learnt as I was doing it. And literally, when I found something interesting, I would pick up the iPhone and record that little bit. A little bit low energy in places as I'm thinking, as I'm talking, what have you. But at best, maybe it's a nice record of how to refurbish the bits and bobs within a Leslie 145. So I hope you enjoy that, and I'll speak to you soon. Goodbye.